I hope you studied my last video. A lot of you brothers don't might be tuning in for the first time, so I just want to give you a little history right here of who I am. This is me. This is my award. It's called the Spirit of Detroit. The Spirit of Detroit Award. It was given to me by the Common Council. I came in, we had a lot of shows like mine, programs like mine over at WHPR 88.1 FM and TV 33, owned and operated by a black man by the name of R.J. Watkins in the city of Highland Park. But the name of my program was called Mind, Body, and Soul. Before T.D. Jakes had his Mind, Body, and Soul, I had Mind, Body, and Soul. And I was number one, equal to Joanne Watkins at that time here in Detroit. But my program was hard hitting. It wasn't political. I'm not a political minded cat. I'm strictly, if you want to say spiritual, I fight with revelations and divine inspiration, and imagination and creation. That's how I deal. And not so much of, trying to point facts to you. Reason why I don't like to do that, because the facts change over a period of time. Even in the dictionary, I got a whole bunch of old dictionaries, 1940. I did have some older than that. I got them here now, but they are, they weather beaten, weather beaten. That my grandmother handed down to me, because my mother was an MGT. This is her book right here. It goes back to 1947. I was born in 1946. My mother's mother was an MGT. My mother's brother was a FOI. My mother's sister was a MGT in St. Louis, Missouri. Back in the 40s, man. I was born into the nation, into the teachers, put it like that. And then into the nation, because my mother became a member. Automatically, I'm a member. And the way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad described being a Muslim is that I was born a Muslim. I didn't have to join no organization or no particular group. I was born a Muslim. They say every baby is born a Muslim. But you're born into a corrupt culture, a corrupt society. And most everybody take that route. They follow the mindset of that corrupt society. And then at that point, you're still a Muslim by nature, but your actions speaks otherwise, because you acting other than yourself, because you're going to take on the characteristics of those that you put in authority over you, not knowing who you really are, not knowing the true self. And you bury the true self. You murder the true self and you bury the true self. True self is dead. The false self, you're taking on the characteristics of that particular society, which is ran by what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad described as the devil. And then he goes into how the history of the devil, how he came about, and then he goes into the history of how you came about. But he got this knowledge from Master Farad Muhammad. Most people want to, the government going to try to defame both Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But all the great leaders that came among us, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in that era lasted the longest. Not only did he last the longest, he prospered up until he died. He prospered. I got to admire a man like that, and I got to believe that he was backed by a divine being who gave him supreme wisdom. And through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Farad Muhammad, we got that supreme wisdom here in Detroit. Up until the point where he died, and his son and Minister Farrakhan joined the Orthodox Muslim. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad spoke against being taught by the Orthodox Muslims, but both Minister Farrakhan and his son Wallace D. Muhammad not only spoke against their father, spiritual father, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the blood father of Wallace D. Muhammad. But the reason why I'm calling this Detroit the last big fist to knock out white supremacy is because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad established the Lost Foundation of Islam here in the wilderness of North America, and he gave a legacy and a blueprint. Even though he's gone, that legacy and blueprint is still here. And the effects that he had is still among Detroit. Because see, there's still brothers here and throughout the country that are not in the ranks of Minister Farrakhan, but they still trying to follow the teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But they stagnant right now. The reason why they're stagnant is because when Wallace D. Muhammad did what he did, turned hypocrite and whatever, it hurt the brothers. And the elder brothers that's in it, they they lost their creativity. They lost their insight, their God vision. And they didn't reestablish what Wallace D. Muhammad unestablished. They didn't reestablish it. So they stuck in the same spot of teaching, but they're not building or rebuilding the brick and mortar and the cash flow that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had, and the farms and the bakeries and the supermarkets and the banks. They're not doing it. They're working at they're not trying to go any further. Therefore, when you're at a standstill, you leave an opening for your enemy. Now, Minister Farrakhan, he had fooled everybody because he came back and started building. But that's been a while back, you know. When he gave that Million Man March, that was the opportunity to actually rebuild, but something happened. Something happened right then, right at that Million Man March. Even though he continued to teach the teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he began to, some of the teachers, but you could notice that he was slowly but surely changing some of the wording, and some of the, he put a spin on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching. That's what he did. So we're here now in Detroit. They're tearing down Joe Louis Arena. I don't know what's going to happen to that black fist, but we're going to see. I'm going to cut on out on this one. I don't want to run out of time. Come back later on with part 4. I hope y'all stay with me. Those of you who are in the nation, out the nation, the nation of gods and earth, the Moors, all of y'all. I hope y'all continue to follow me. I got something special that'll uplift you. This is Black Light.